Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coventry. Welcome to the CBS Arena. Norwich City take on Coventry City here this lunchtime. We'll bring you the team news straight away. Norwich City are unchanged from last week. So Pat, who's got it in front of him, is going to read it. And then we'll delve into some more specifics on it. Pat.
Absolutely. Good morning, all from God's country. Sun always shines here, but unchanged. But just to reiterate, that's Cruel, Aarons, Obama Daily, Grant Hanley, Demi Anulis. Then you've got obviously McLean and Zara in the sort of double pivot, and then ahead of them, of course, Kieran Dowell, so excellent at Preston. You've got Josh Sargent, you've got Onel Hernandez, and leading the line, the main man, Timu Pukki. Bench also unchanged from Preston, so I'll quickly run through that. That's Angus Gunn, Adam Eder, Sam McCallum. Back here, obviously, had a good period at Coventry, and that's where Norwich obviously signed him from originally, then loaned him back. Jakob Sorensen, Dan Elsanani, Marcelino Nunez, and Liam Gibbs. So unchanged, and let's hope it's an unchanged performance.
Yes, absolutely. Hopefully you can see us. Hopefully you can hear us. I don't think the connection's too strong, and the sun is very bright. As you can see, it looks like we're being rained down upon by some sort of divine light. But there we go. Pads, we are at Coventry. Nice to be back. Nice to be home.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, bit of family time yesterday. Came up a bit earlier than you boys, and yeah, I thought Paul Chestnut, our photographer extraordinaire. We just talked about this on the way in. I think the first time we've been here since 2011, Grand Hole in the snow season, which, if I've got my bearings right, was a Norwich away win on route to Championship promotion. So we'd settle for that again. Putting my cough hat to one side, but no, it is a fantastic stadium. For those who aren't aware, obviously Coventry haven't played here for various reasons to do with the ownership for a long period, but they're back here now. They've got a new owner. It was confirmed in the last few weeks. It was actually unveiled to the media here yesterday. His name's Doug King. The reason I'm mentioning him is he's a Norwich fan by birth, born in Lowestoft, but now he's a very successful businessman based here in Warwickshire. He's coming in and reading the local paper yesterday. They feel that this club should be back in the Premier League, and he's going to do everything in his power to support Mark Robbins in that quest, which of course is where we all hope Norwich can get themselves back under David Wagner clearly now. So intriguing game in store. Not the walkover I would expect that we had at Preston. But that said, Coventry aren't in the best of form since the restart. Prior to that, they were coming like a train, but a few injuries. Gave Burnley a good run last week at Turf Moor, got beat 1-0 late on, but they've got one or two injuries still. But they've also got a few dangerous players. And they showed enough at Carrow Road. Yes, Norwich ran comfortable winners that day earlier in the season. But there was enough in that game to show that this will be a tougher, for me, prospect that maybe we got at Preston. But it's another way to benchmark a Wagner side. If they come through this and they go back to Norfolk with another win, another away win, then the expectation grows again. Unfortunately, Burnley and Sheffield United both won again on Friday night. I think it's the top two. If it wasn't already done and dusted, I think the gap points-wise to the rest from those two is insurmountable for me at this stage of the season. So it's all about getting in the playoffs firstly, and then hitting the playoffs with a bit of form, and you've got a 1 in 4 chance of joining, as it would appear, Burnley and Sheffield United in the Premier League.
Absolutely. We'll run through Coventry's team. They're also unchanged from last week's defeat to Burnley. They've got Ben Wilson in goal, Darbo, Rose, Doyle, Norton, Cuffy and Bidwell as their back five. Alan, Sheep, Hamer and Palmer as a midfield four, with Victor Gyökeres up front. Very good player at this level. Their subs bench: Moore, Panzo, Wilson, Esbrand, Kelly, Burrows, Howley and Nee. So that's how the hosts line up this afternoon. Pat, I think it's only right and only fitting, given that if I just turn to my left and maybe we'll spin the laptop round. I don't know if you'll be able to see it because of the sunshine, but I know you will. But anyway, in that end is over 2,700 Norwich City fans this afternoon. Some following Paddy. I mean, especially given perhaps the context of this season, which hasn't been necessarily great. Obviously, the win last week maybe has added to those numbers, and it would be interesting to find out just how significantly those numbers have been added to. But it all feeds into the positivity that David Wagner's been able to create in his first full night in charge.
Yeah, I mean, we won't get carried away. It is one game in the league, a very good game. He himself admitted that when he spoke to us on Thursday. Probably did exceed expectations in terms of the cohesiveness and already the signs that these players are loving working under this guy, under this full throttle, we'll get after you system. But it does feel, and no support and numbers to me underline it, and there was all this pent-up frustration. We don't need to get into the whys and wherefores. We all know what it's been like this season, culminated just before Christmas. And the removal of Dean Smith, but all that frustration is gone now, and it's not like the dam has burst, and everything feels positive, everything feels optimistic within the context of a very difficult path to the Premier League from this stage, this season. But I think the fans can see it, can see that this is a new chapter under a new head coach who they clearly feel they can connect with better than maybe his predecessor, and that's underlined. I know it's probably one of the shorter trips, but if they don't get a result as they did in the manner they did at Preston, I don't think we see that volume of support. But it just all feeds into get this club going again. And we've all followed it long enough, either personally or professionally. You get this club rolling at this level, the momentum, that fan base will grow and grow and grow home and away. That can be an unstoppable force. So, at the back of my head, as I say, without wanting to reiterate, it looks a tough ask now in terms of the top two. So, it's still going to be a very, very, very tall order, I feel, to come through the playoffs. But, it feels like we now can look forward rather than, continually looking back to what isn't working, what doesn't feel right on and off the pitch. And 2,700 here today is testament to that, because that's people who put their hard-earned money where their mouth is and their time to get on the road early doors. You left at 7 this morning. I'm sure that's the case for a lot of those Norwich fans coming from Norfolk, because they now believe that they're seeing a club under a head coach, under a set of players who are actually moving forward, and it's something of a optimistic feel around the place. And of course, you want to buy into that. It's your club. You want to feel that they're moving forward rather than maybe stuck in neutral and treading water.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting game for Norwich, because we all know what happened last week and how impressive a performance that was before you even marked the result, but chucked the result on as well. And there has been quite a bit of euphoria and excitement, and dare I even say giddiness over what we saw last week, certainly from fans. The game after, though, is always quite difficult to navigate, isn't it? Because there can be somewhat of a hangover effect. What do they need to do this afternoon to avoid that from happening? And I guess that's the challenge for David Wagner, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I did put it to him on Thursday, in terms of the mechanics of how this game shapes up. Do they, Coventry, that is, offer you a different challenge than Preston? And while acknowledging that, he didn't really want to go into too much detail, but I think there will be a slightly different challenge. Mark Robbins is, as we've all seen, a very astute coach, and even if he's got a few injured, he's not going to make it as easy as Preston did. I mean, that was pretty abject from them, I felt. So, for me, they're going to have to really deconstruct what Mark Robbins is going to try and do. He knows full well that this David Wagner side will come and try with the same mindset to pin Coventry back and make life hard for them. He's not going to want his players here at home as well. There'll be another good home turnout today to make it quite as easy as Preston did. So, I think Norwich won't have it all their own way as they did at Preston, but ultimately, the confidence surging through a group of players that we've all felt from the get-go are good enough to be at the top end of this table. I still think they'll probably prevail today, but it'll be a much tougher aspect than it was at Preston. And if they do prevail, when things have been a bit tougher for them, then it's another building block that, they've got a head coach who can, irrespective of the opponent, irrespective of what the opponent's trying to do to stop Norwich, can counteract that, and that would be really interesting to see today. Can they, against I think the Coventry side will be less deferential than Preston were, can they still find a way to leave here with 3 points and another good performance?
Yeah, as is the nature of the Championship. So bizarre, so crazy that Coventry find themselves in 15th, although a win here today I think takes them within 3 points of Norwich, and obviously if Norwich win, because of the timing of the kickoff, they can jump into the top 6 ahead of a few of those teams playing either this afternoon or tomorrow, which will make it interesting as well. So Pat, I can probably preempt your score prediction given your allegiance, but how do you see this one going this afternoon? I've got a feeling you're going to go for a draw, am I right?
Well, I mean, obviously, that would be the best result for me, personally and professionally, but no, I do feel Norwich will probably get the win today. I'm going to sort of say, probably enough, I think it was 2-0 that day, last year with the Paul Lambert, Grant Holt, Russell Martin. 2-1 was it, sorry. I can see that again, but I'm going to go, another clean sheet, 2-0 Norwich. I'm looking at a sign here that says Coventry right in front of us. But, and I'll have to deal with that on a personal level, but ultimately, I think Coventry have an inferior squad of players to Norwich, and Norwich are still in that honeymoon phase in terms of the players, David Wagner, and I think they'll carry them through today, but it won't be as easy as it was last week. So an away win, and it would be the first time I've seen Cov get beat by Norwich. So as long as it's not that League Cup game in Carrow, which was about 6 or 7-1 a few years ago, then they'll be all right. It's not much fun sweeting goal Norwich when it's gets cold, but we're here to do a job, and I think it'll be Norwich doing the job. So I'll throw it all back to you, Connor. Away win.
Yeah, I can see the way. I was actually going to go for the same score that we saw in 2010-11, that 2-1. I can see that being the case. You can see, obviously, Coventry have some wonderful firepower at the top end of the pitch. I think they will score this afternoon, but I think Norwich will be just too strong for them. And given the momentum that has been gathering or has built up in the last week, you can see that continuing in front of what is a wonderful base of Norwich City away support. Of course, you can follow the action across our Pinkett channels, Pinkett Plus app as well. Get a free trial if you haven't done so already. I'll be on the live blog this afternoon if you want to join me. Although I think I'm going to need sunglasses because it's freezing cold, but the sun is definitely shining, and Norwich City will be hoping that they can take 3 points back with them to Norfolk. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the game, and we'll see you again very, very soon.